does, I swear.
By Sarah 1281. Chapter 30. I'm not a pedophile. I just want his body. Thanks again for doing this, Kakashi said again. Seriously, you've just saved me many an accusation of murder.
That's quite alright, Sarutobi assured him. And really, I don't think I want to know. If you two are quite done with that, then it's time to move things along, Orochimaru announced. He took out 2 kunai that had seals attached to them and plunged one into the back of each of the former Hokage's head. Feel free to resume your true appearance now.
They look cleaner, Minato noted. But other than that, pretty much the same. What did you do?
The seal I put in them puts them directly under my control, Orochimaru bragged. And the nice thing about this resurrection technique is it's a form of immortality. Until I stop powering them, they will continue to exist here no matter what you do. If you remove a limb, it will grow back. Every time you knock them down, they will simply get up again. You can't win.
So you're saying we need to kill you first?
Naoto said flatly, staring hard at his former compatriot. Orochimaru laughed. As if you could. Dear Sarutobi-sensei and Nindaime-sama won't let you get anywhere near me. And even if you could manage it, I've seen you in action before. Do you really think I'd come here if I was going to be risking death?
Are you... Kakashi trailed off incredulously before starting again. Are you honestly telling us that if either of the 2 former Hokages had bothered to move instead of standing right in front of you and within kunai plunging range, they might not have been taken over and we could have avoided all of this?
I suppose so, Orochimaru agreed. Too bad for you they didn't.
Itachi? Kakashi? Minato said in a low voice. I want you two to go after Orochimaru. I can handle myself against my predecessors, and if anything goes wrong, then killing Orochimaru should destroy Sandaime-sama and Nindaime-sama's incarnations. We don't know what steps Orochimaru has taken to try and achieve immortality, so if necessary, Itachi, use the Saganaki no Tachi. Itachi nodded.
Understood, Hokage-sama.
Don't die, Minato-sensei, Kakashi said, knowing very well that this battle had cost Sarutobi his life, although he wasn't clear on the details. Something about sealing Orochimaru's arms? Wouldn't dream of it, Minato promised. I will not fall to the likes of Orochimaru.
Oh, so the 2 of you are going to be facing me now? Orochimaru asked, arching an eyebrow at them. I had so wanted to watch Minato die, but I suppose that this will at least give me something to do while he realizes that resistance is futile and abandons all hopes of surviving. If I hurry, I might even get done in time to watch Yondaime-sama's death.
You're confident, Itachi said quietly.
Immortal people often are, Orochimaru replied. And I mean real immortality, not those parlor tricks of Hidan's. Why we're considering letting him join is beyond me. It would be so much easier if Kakuzu just learned some self-control.
If you're immortal and not even slightly worried about Minato-sensei kicking your butt, then why did you feel the need to summon 2 dead people to stand between the 2 of you?
Kakashi asked innocently. I don't need to explain myself to the likes of you, Kakashi, Orochimaru sniffed. And you. I know who you are.
Indeed, Itachi asked rhetorically.
You're the one who pinned your massacre on me, Orochimaru exclaimed.
My massacre, Itachi repeated. I'm afraid I don't know what you mean.
I wasn't anywhere near Konoha on that night, and yet somehow everyone blames me for wiping out such an honorable and distinguished clan, Orochimaru hissed. The acclaim was appreciated, but being held responsible for wiping out such a powerful bloodline, I've come to feel it is not worth it.
I fail to see how that is my fault, Itachi told him. Anko was the one who identified you that night.
I'm sure she was, Orochimaru said patronizingly. That girl never did like me after I left. I think she might have abandonment issues. Still, I wonder what dear little Sasuke-kun would have to say about all of this. He was such a delight when we met in the forest.
Itachi's eyes flashed. I will kill you before allowing you anywhere near my brother again.
You can try, Orochimaru invited. The Sharingan might be a good deal rarer than it once was, but that only adds to its value. I've always wanted an Uchiha, you know, and now it seems fate has seen fit to give me one. You mean, like a pet? Kakashi felt compelled to ask. Or do you mean more like a sex toy? Itachi eyed his fellow Konoha shinobi reproachfully, but said nothing. At least not now, although after the invasion was over might very well be a different story. What? No! Orochimaru insisted. I am not a pedophile, I just want his body. There was an awkward silence. Are you sure you're not a pedophile? Kakashi asked finally. Because from the sounds of it, yes, I'm sure. Orochimaru cut him off. He opened his mouth wide and a snake extended from it. Oh, that is just gross, Kakashi exclaimed. What, did you eat a snake now? Does one live in your intestines? On second thought, I really don't want to know. If you are going to complain every time Orochimaru does something disgusting, this is going to take twice as long, Itachi told him. And once this battle is over, we will still be needed to deal with the rest of the invasion. I know, it's just... Kakashi trailed off as the snake's mouth opened to reveal a blade that shot forward in his general direction. Once the sword was gone, the snake receded back into Orochimaru's throat and he shut his mouth. Jumping out of the way, Kakashi continued. If he was just going to use the snake to store the sword, why even bother with that? Is he just trying to be creepy? I know you can swallow swords without the aid of reptiles because I know I've seen Anko do it often enough. Kakashi felt that even now, he still wasn't a match for Orochimaru. Minato definitely was, but he was a little busy at the moment. Even Sasuke had only managed to beat him because the Snake Sannin was already suffering the effects of his borrowed body's breakdown, even if Sasuke usually denied it. Not that that really reflected badly on either of them, except Sasuke really should have put himself in a position where he was so close to being assimilated, since Orochimaru had proven capable of standing up to Naruto when he was using 4 tails. Really, the only person he knew of to defeat Orochimaru in anything resembling a fair fight was Itachi, and he pulled it off at 13 or so. And thus Kakashi was perfectly happy to leave the snake fighting to the Uchiha and deal with the legendary sword himself. Unfortunately, said legendary sword had this annoying tendency to be able to slice through anything. Well, anything except multi-tailed Jinchuriki chakra, and Kakashi was sadly bereft of that. Fortunately for him, tossing random kunai, exploding tags, or even jutsus at the Kusanagi no Tsuguri, Ku no Tachi, was enough to slow it down, as even though he was just essentially stalling, doing nothing but running away would be really embarrassing. It might even convince Orochimaru not to waste his precious sword on him and recall it, meaning he would be no help whatsoever. Kakashi stopped suddenly and almost got impaled as a result when he saw a giant flaming humanoid spirit surrounding Itachi. That must be Susanoo. Orochimaru paused for a second to whisper in wonderment. The Saganaki no Tachi. All these years and you've had it. I knew there was a reason I hated you. Almost before Orochimaru finished his odd declaration, Susanoo stabbed him with the Kusanagi's perfect counter. Almost immediately, Orochimaru seemed to melt into the sword. Without Orochimaru to guide it, the Kusanagi dropped lifeless to the ground. I've always wanted an unbreakable sword, Kakashi mused, picking it up. Or at least I have since that thing started chasing me. Sasuke will probably steal it from me for shades against, though. After all, the fact that he kept calling his sword Kusanagi kind of suggests an active interest on his part. Itachi quickly dropped the Susanoo, and he and Kakashi turned as one to see how Minato was faring. Minato was standing back and watching as 2 clones of his held the Sandaime and Nindaime in place. An arm was extended out of each clone's abdomen and into that of each former Hokages. Sorry, Yondame-sama. The Nindaime apologized. A wry smile on his face. It caused a lot of trouble for you. You're doing a great job, Minato, Sarutobi said gently. I knew I made the right choice. I'm sorry, the Minato watching the exchange told them. Rest in peace. With that, the arms pulled the souls out of the 2 dead leaders and they collapsed onto the ground in a pile of ash and former sound shinobi. Such disregard for the lives of his followers.
Minato said, ruefully shaking his head. Hey, if Sandame's soul was basically eaten by a Shinigami and then Orochimaru brought him here, does that mean Orochimaru inadvertently essentially saved him from eternal suffering? Kakashi wondered. Minato cocked his head. I don't know. That would be incredibly ironic if it were the case. So Orochimaru's gone? Itachi nodded. Yes, Hokage-sama. I sealed him with a Sagenaki no Tachi. I was unaware you could use clones for sealing of that sort. Minato nodded. For people, yes, if you have enough chakra. For Biju, they are too powerful for that and need a living sacrifice, or we all could have been saved a lot of trouble.
I should have known that Orochimaru would prove useless,
a cold voice remarked. Kakashi spun around to see Madara, looking very much like his avatar, Toby, casually leaning against a wall.
But still, his fanatically devoted cannon fodder helped make this invasion possible.
Madara, Itachi said finally.
Why, hello, Itachi.
Madara greeted cordially.
It's been years, hasn't it? I don't believe I've seen you since the massacre. You forgot about our deal, didn't you? I helped you brutally murder every one of our brethren, save little Sasuke, and you joined me at Akatsuki.
Things changed, Itachi replied. Orochimaru was blamed and I did not have to leave.
Be that as it may, Itachi, a promise is a promise, and I really would have thought you'd have been raised to respect that.
Madara mock lectured.
Still, it's not too late to join me.
I will never betray Konoha, Itachi declared.
We shall see,
Madara said, sounding amused. Kakashi, Minato said quietly, leave this to Itachi and I. What? Kakashi protested. But go find Obito, Minato ordered. Sasuke and Sakura are probably with him, and knowing them, they're probably getting in over their heads. Keep my son alive, Kakashi. Reluctantly, Kakashi nodded. Don't make him an orphan, Minato-sensei. And Kami knows the last thing Sasuke needs is to lose more family members. You know, for an invasion, this is really kind of boring, Sasuke complained as he cut down yet another Oto shinobi. They had to face a few Susanoo shinobi earlier in the fight, but the message that Orochimaru had betrayed them and killed their Kazekage seemed to have spread through Susanoo's ranks at this point. It may be a little monotonous since we're just facing grunts, Sakura acknowledged, but you can't honestly say you're bored. Did I mention that when that man was trying to see how close I was to be ready to get possessed by him, he had me fight 100 Oto shinobi and I took them all down without killing any of them or getting a scratch on me? Sasuke asked. That's great, Sasuke! Naruto beamed. Sasuke just shrugged. Not really. I mean, these were maybe Chunin level shinobi I'm talking about. So, do you remember when Shikamaru made Chunin? Granted, he was brilliant, but if you stayed out of range of his shadow, he was not much of a challenge back then. He did pretend to be unconscious so he wouldn't have to do anything during the invasion, Sakura conceded. True, Naruto admitted. But actually, I was talking about how great it was that you didn't kill them! Even if they were Oto shinobi and thus evil by default? Sasuke asked innocently. Naruto hesitated before nodding firmly. Even then! You know, from what I can tell, Naruto, most of the Oto shinobi were just as messed up as Sasuke, Sakura pointed out. So when I see Orochimaru, I think of, well, a lot of things really, none of them positive. But one of those things is a Pied Piper. Most of those children didn't really have caring friends and a great support network should they have ever chosen to utilize it like Sasuke. But other than that, it was pretty much the same situation, Naruto groaned. Don't make me start seeing them as victims, Sakura! You're going to make me compelled to save them all! Sasuke snorted. As long as Orochimaru's alive for them to obsess over, you can't save any of them. That is a good thing Itachi just killed Orochimaru, huh? Kakashi asked, shin-shinning over to them. I know Itachi's insanely awesome and all, Naruto said, confused, but I thought Orochimaru was kind of, immortal. By killed, I meant sealed away for all eternity, Kakashi amended. Much better than when Sasuke tried to seal Orochimaru inside of him. Kami knows what would have happened had Itachi not been there when he broke loose. I had it under control, Sasuke claimed. So Orochimaru's gone. I would have liked to have been there, but I suppose I already beat him, and the Susanoo is the most effective way of getting rid of him.
He did use the Susanoo, didn't he? He did, Kakashi agreed. And right now, he and your father, Naruto, are facing Madara. Sasuke's head snapped up. Where?
You're not going off on another suicide quest,
Sakura said firmly.
let those two insanely powerful shinobi deal with it. You just get in the way.
I promised I wouldn't go looking for him, but he's here now, Sasuke burst out, and he's fighting my brother. You can't expect me to do nothing. I can, and I do, Kakashi said seriously. Either of them would kill me if I let you guys anywhere near that fight. Killing him once was not enough, Sasuke growled.
But Naruto did everything in his power to get your clan wiped out.
Naruto agreed.
But you aren't the only one who suffered because of that decision. Let attempt to get vengeance this time, okay?
But he doesn't even want vengeance, Sasuke protested.
Him helping to kill Madara would still be avenging the Uchiha.
Naruto insisted. Sasuke thought about it for a long, terrible moment where his teammates were left wondering if they'd need to incapacitate him so he'd stay out of a fight he was nowhere near ready for and what to do with him if they did. Finally, Sasuke spoke up. Fine, but I'm going to need to kill something in the next 2 minutes or so help me. There was a dark chuckle a few feet away. No, isn't that bad after my own heart? A quick glance showed the speaker was Kazami. Sasori and Kakuzu were standing with him. So, the Akatsuki was there after all.